Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings. Welcome to this week of the Nintendo Shack podcast, or as we will call it this week, the Shez Shack. We have some Fire Emblem news to talk about today. We have some rumors about a remaster to talk about today. I feel like this has been a week. Nintendo, some stuff here and there.
That's true.
It's been kind of happening, I think, sporadically. I don't know. I think I am excited about some of the stuff that is happening soon. I don't know about you, Garrett.
Yes.
How has this week been for you? I've been on spring break this week, so I haven't been working this week. I have not been doing as much gaming as I originally planned to. I always say, like, right before I have like a break from work or some days off, like, I'm going to use this time to like really dive into some games on my backlog or some games that I want to catch up on. And then I end up like doing some other stuff, but I've been productive, been getting some stuff done. But not as much gaming as I would like. I still have some days off, before Easter. I still have tomorrow off and then like the weekend. So maybe now that I've gotten some productive stuff behind me, maybe I'll dive some more into games.
That'd be cool. I'm doing just fine. Just chugging along. I miss spring break. That's the thing I haven't had in a long time.
The perks of working at a school.
Right. Yeah. I don't get the summers. I don't get the, but I am very lucky to get a lot of kind of like paid time off days and extra holidays I would never suspect to get off. So at least there's that. But this week's been super busy with work. I am now being pulled into like 3 or 4 different projects. Helps me a lot. I'm learning a lot. So, but yeah, just been super busy. In terms of gaming, I just want to like shout it out right now, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. I've been playing Shin Megami Tensei 5. Okay. I am making progress. I promise you guys, I am getting there.
It's a process for that game.
It is a process, and I love the process. It's just I'm a little slow at it. And of course, this other game has been taking my time.
I want to hear all about this one that you're going to be talking about, because just from what you've put out there in the Twitterverse, I'm excited to hear what you have to say about it.
Guys, Nobody Saves the World is probably my favorite game of the year so far.
The fact that you said that and I saw you say that made me super interested to know what this is all about.
Yeah, so I mentioned it like last week. I played about an hour. I think I'm almost done with it. I'm like 75-80% done with it. It's a super cool game. It is a top-down 2D action RPG with a bunch of dungeons everywhere. It's kind of like Metroidvania-ish in a sense, where you can just go off into different areas and go through these quests and dungeons. Basically, you're going through a storyline, which, I mean, the storyline's whatever. It's funny. I love the writing. It's hilarious.
Oh, I love
filled with
that.
Dry humor. Filled with so many like current event type of comedy. The developers knew what they were doing when they were playing this game. But basically the novelty behind this one is that throughout the game you get these different forms or different types of kind of classes, and they go weird with it. I mean, first they go ranger and then like knight, but then they really spread out. It's like, okay, here's a slug, here's a turtle, here's a ghost, here's a zombie.
It sounds like that could get very creative.
You can get very creative with it. And each of them have their own kind of like slow, like speed, kind of attack, like basic attack. And then there's a point for each form where you can customize skills. And so you can mix around skills from other forms as well.
Okay.
And each of these forms have their own levels and rankings. And so you go through the game, and basically the more you do certain tasks for a form, you get more higher ranking, you get more skills for that form, and then you can transfer some of those skills to other forms as well.
So it's still progressive in how your
Mhm.
character is, I guess, leveling up in a sense without,
Mhm.
saying that you're changing forms and you're kind of changing. I'm sure that the combat probably changes, or the strategies change
Mhm.
depending on your form, but you're still seeing some progress as you go along
For sure, yeah,
as far
and
as your
there's a lot
character
of
growth.
different yeah, there's
Yeah.
very different ways to go about this game. It's so versatile the way you can play this game. Um, At one point, I was a magician, and there's one skill you just pop out like your familiars. You pop out rabbits, you pop out like tigers, like nonstop. I'm like, this is so cool. Okay, maybe I mix in this other skill that does poison. What does that do? And then you
Yeah.
just see all the familiars poisoning all the monsters, and like it gets very you can have so many different combinations going on at the same time in that screen. It can get pretty chaotic. But at the same time, if you go in there with the strategy, it's pretty satisfying for sure.
So I have
Um,
some questions.
sure, go for it.
You said you're about like 80% of the way through it, or however much. How long about is
Yeah,
the game?
I don't think the time clock was super accurate because I leave it on pause a lot.
Hmm.
I would have to say I'm about 8 to 10 hours in right
Okay.
now.
It's a good range.
Yeah. It's not it's not long, like disastrously long at all. I think you can probably beat the main story or whatever in like 12 to 15 hours, and then you can 100% everything where you like get all the S ranks for your forms and you do all the quests. Throughout the map there's different guilds too, and these guilds have different quests
Mhm.
and rankings as well. And then like the last final thing is that they monsters sometimes they're kind of shielded off by this thing called a ward. And this ward, kind of like you have to use a specific attribute like fire or electric in Pokemon,
Okay.
but it's like blunt, poison, dark move or
Yeah.
whatever to break that ward. And so that actually kind of forces you to like change up your forms a lot. Especially when you go into dungeons like, hey, it's gonna be filled with these type of wards, and it's like, okay, I will go to this form and do these like kind of different things than what I was doing originally. You can pop out in any form you want. It's very quick. You can go up all the way down and around, like a little wheel that switches between forms, like
So
6
you
or
can
7 at a
change,
time.
like, once you get a form, you can change between the forms that you have whenever you want?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's really
And then each of the forms, you're doing like mini quests to like rank them up, right? And these mini quests kind of forces you to do different things as well with the form.
Mhm.
Once you get a turtle and a mermaid, you're able to go across sea, in oceans, and then you originally have a like a rat as your first form, and that rat can go into tiny spaces. So they do a little bit of
Got it.
environmental kind of
So it's like
exploration
puzzle
there.
solving, right?
It's not.
With the forms, like,
Yeah,
you might not be able to get to a certain area, like, then you might
yeah,
see, like, a small hole. "Oh, I should change into a rat so I can fit through it."
exactly. It's
Got it, okay.
definitely more
But there's
like
combat, right?
so much combat in there. It's just like you go into like a big tile map, and then there's a bunch of monsters just everywhere in the screen, and you just go
Yeah,
after
okay.
it.
Okay.
Um, and so it's it's just a top-down action RPG. Lots of different things to do. It is out on Switch today.
I have 2 more
Um,
questions. How much does it cost on Switch?
it is $25, but Chad,
Okay.
correct me. I think there's a 10% discount right now
Ooh,
for launch.
might pick that
Um,
up.
yeah.
Okay.
And then what's your second question?
Why is it called Nobody Saves the World? Sounds like there's a
Because
lot of creatures there that are saving the world.
the original thing, like the original character is a
Uh-huh.
nobody. He's just this
Uh,
white blob with black eyes. And
okay, yeah,
there's really
I saw that on, like, the cover art.
yeah. Yeah, so he is there's like nothing about him. Like and then he finds the wand in the wizard's place, and then boom, he can change to forms and goes on his quest basically.
I think I'm gonna
So
buy this right now. Remember
it's
that
super cool.
time, like,
Hmm.
more than a year ago when was it with Donnie or was it Elaine, where we were, like, gonna buy one game that was on sale, and then, like, I never started mine.
Wait, was it with Donnie? I think it was with
I think it
Donnie, and we
was.
all
Mine was
picked the
like the
game.
longest 5 minutes or something like that. I never even
Oh
started
yeah,
it. I
yeah.
might have
Oh god,
started it.
what? I forgot what I picked then. It's
It
just
was
been.
cheap though. It was like less than $10, I think.
Oh, okay. It's been a while. Oh, did I? No. What's that one game that Donnie really likes? The cheeky one. Oh my gosh.
He likes a lot of cheeky games.
No More Heroes, right? No More Heroes. That's
Oh,
it, I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Quite different
anyways,
than this.
yes, Nobody Save the World is such a treat. I love the studio too, Drinkbox. I loved Severed a lot. That was
Uh-huh.
their previous game. That's also on Switch, but I actually recommend that on phone because it requires a lot of slashing involved on a touchscreen.
Got it.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm really really liking this game and hope to finish it out. I think I'll 100% it on Xbox and see what the achievements are
The
and
fact that
everything like
you
that.
are coming in with that much of a praise that like you already feel that it's your current game of the year and then might continue
Hmm.
to be, depending, I guess, on how the rest of the year goes. That's
Hmm.
pretty high praise and convinces me to at least try it.
Yeah, it's definitely a like a not a super long game, very digestible, very initially it looks very surface level, very simple, and then it just
Mhm.
kind of just adds on top of that, and then along with that, just great writing. It runs. I heard it runs great on Switch.
Oh, good.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
so
with a lot
it's
going on the screen with lots of enemies, I could see how there could be slowdown if it wasn't optimized well.
right, right. So yeah, they did a good job. They caught me. A few complaints I'm hearing that's getting negative, not negative reviews, but
Mhm.
just like lower score is basically there's a lot of forms to think about, and there's just it can get overwhelming if you don't know what you're doing. But I feel
Mhm.
like if you direct it towards the quests that you're tracking on it and don't think about it too hard, just like you can mix around. There's like really not a wrong way to go about it with this
Are
game.
there things that have multiple solutions? Like, if you didn't think of it one way, you might be able to do it in a different form?
Exactly. Yeah. So I've come like into a like a dungeon, basically with two different wards, and the monsters they have very interesting design of like range attacks, physical attacks, what they do, and they just put a whole mixture of different monsters, mobs together to like go after you. And I tried it one way, and then it's like, oh, okay, that's not really working out. Let me try it with this form, and it was so much easier. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's just trying to just mix around a little bit and see what works. I remember going into it and I just got the bodybuilder form, and oh my gosh, the bodybuilder one is so satisfying because it's just basically a tank with just a bunch of blunts, and it just drops its basic attack is dropping a bench press down at the
That's
monsters and
so funny.
pushing it, and it's just yeah, this game's pretty good, guys.
I
I
like
highly
that.
recommend it.
Cool.
So there you go.
Cool. Yeah, I might pick that up. I don't know if I'll start it right away, but that's something that I could. I have so many. This is an indie. This is an indie, right?
Yeah, it's
This is the
Drinkbox
world.
Studios. They
Inbox,
are
okay.
an independent studio developer. They made Guacamelee as well. That was their big
Oh,
one.
okay. Okay. I have a
Hmm.
whole list of indies that I need to either start because they're on my Switch or finish because I started them. I
Hmm.
said this was going to be my year of indies. I just need to like actually finish the ones that I started.
Yeah. No, I actually downloaded just a chock full of indies on Game Pass. Like this is the first one I want to get after, and then I had Tunic, Weird West.
Oh,
There was
Tunic.
another one that I downloaded as well from Game Pass.
Tunic is
That was
coming to
just
Switch at some point, right?
oh, I'm sure.
Confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
wait till it
yeah,
comes out on Switch to play that one.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely a Switch game though. If I didn't have it on Game Pass, I would totally buy it on
It feels like a
Switch.
Switch game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hmm.
Cool.
There you go. What about you?
Um, yeah, I haven't been playing much. I did a little bit
Hmm.
of A Link to the Past yesterday for the anniversary.
Yeah.
I have been tinkering around with my new Animal Crossing island, which is just kind of fun in like short bursts, like 10 minutes here or there.
Cool.
Not really anything else new. Stay tuned for next
Hey,
week.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Have one of
Yeah.
those weeks. Be productive. You
I've
said
been,
you were
yeah, like
productive,
I
so that's
said,
good.
off from this week, getting some stuff done.
Cool.
It's been okay. Been relaxing.
Yeah.
Spending some time outside. It was hot today.
Well,
It's like
you're
remarkably hot.
you're getting ready. You're getting mentally prepped for PAX East, correct? Like you got
True.
some
Yes.
stuff going. Yeah.
I'll talk about
Cool.
that at the end, Pax.
Nice.
But for now, why don't you tell us about the Fire Emblem Three Hopes news that came this week?
Yeah, so we got a new trailer this week. I forgot this game existed and it's coming in very, very quickly. So Nintendo released a new story trailer of Fire Emblem Three Hopes. And it kind of just lays out what the new protagonist is, what the storyline's kind of like, or what the synopsis is. It's pretty interesting because you got a brand new protagonist named Shez, of course. There's Shez right there. Very cool. Purple hair, can be woman or man, which is cool. You could choose. And you go through the storyline and you're helping out the three like leaders of the clans or tribes or whatever throughout the story. And the villain, who is nicknamed Ashen Demon. I think this actually is coming from the DLC of Fire Emblem Three Houses. So I definitely need to go there. But the Ashen Demon is the main protagonist, Byleth, from Fire Emblem Three Houses. Not sure why at all. And so I am just really confused. So I better go back and play the DLC.
So is that because of something that happened, do you think, in the DLC, or is it something that they're just introducing now?
Yeah, I think so, because isn't the hold on, let me look this up. Fire Emblem Three Houses DLC. I think it's called House of Ashes or something.
Okay. So really you kind of have to play the DLC of that game to really know what's going on in Three Hopes.
Maybe.
I'm so sorry. There's a helicopter flying overhead.
Yeah, I'm hearing that right now. Oh
my window's open because it's been so hot.
Yeah, let me know what the name of the DLC is. I just completely forgot, and I can't believe that's not the first thing that pops up on Bing website or whatever. Expansion pass. Yes, there's an expansion. What's it called though? Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. I thought Cindered Shadows. That's what it's called.
That sounds familiar.
All right, never mind. Yeah, so I better need to go back on the DLC because I really want to play that too. I don't know if you really need to play it. It's just like I think it's gonna be a game like Age of Calamity, where it's like it's a sequel, or in that case a prequel or whatever. And you kind of, I mean, you kind of need to know what happens, I guess, in Breath of the Wild a little bit to get like more enjoyment out of Age of Calamity. Although you could play Age of Calamity by itself if you wanted. I think it's gonna be like that. Okay. So yeah, it looks cool. It's definitely that Koei Tecmo Musou type of action play. It's definitely reminiscent of the original Fire Emblem Warriors. It's definitely pulling off that Age of Calamity formula where it's like connecting with the mainline Nintendo game and IP. But it has that Fire Emblem flair to it. You got classes, you got a base that you can build, your different, little things and quests and whatnot. You got a little hub. So yeah, I'm actually pretty excited for this one. I'm very excited to see how this comes along. So yeah.
I feel like Fire Emblem is one of the games that works really well in this Musou style, kind of that Warriors hack and slash style with all of the characters, and then they can really expand on the storyline and characters with this. Adam S. wants to know, what are your thoughts about Byleth potentially being the villain in Fire Emblem Three Hopes? It sounds like you're pretty confused not having played the DLC. I wonder how many other people have only played the base game, not the DLC, and will be jumping into this being like, what the heck?
Yeah. I'm actually like curious to see why that is, and I'm sure it'll be revealed in the Fire Emblem Three Hopes as well. You gotta remember, there's a lot of different endings with Fire Emblem Three Houses. There's 4 different endings, so I don't know. It could be stemming off of one of those endings or whatever. I'm not too sure how this connects. It's definitely like an alternative universe, storyline where it's not going to be canon, like our debates with Age of Calamity.
I was going to say, I that sounds familiar. I've heard that one before. But I don't know. I think
Um,
that's cool. Like it kind of turns that into like almost thought experiments of a story, like what if, or
yeah.
if it's taking it one way, but it doesn't have to if you don't want it to be.
And it looks like Shez is connected to like a spiritual figure very similar to Byleth. Byleth had like a spiritual figure that kind of watched over him and like guide him throughout the game and figuring out where his like choices were and destiny was. And Shez has a very similar thing as well. With I think it's like a spiritual like guy or boy or whatever. So yeah, it's a day one purchase for me. That story trailer really kind of convinced me. It's like, okay, I need to get back on the Fire Emblem grind. I want to get through the DLC and I want to see what this game is really all about. So yeah.
Cool. Get excited,
Yeah.
Fire Emblem fans. And it comes out June 24th, right?
That's
20
my June 24th. Yeah. So
which is
late June.
sooner than I thought. I forgot that this game is so early. We have like Switch Sports. I don't think we have anything for May yet, right?
We don't. And
but then we have
Mario
this
Strikers.
And Mario Strikers for June.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, nothing for May.
All right.
It's not yet. Cool.
Not yet. In other news, Bandai Namco may be remastering a 3D action Nintendo game. This comes from multiple job listings on Bandai Namco's Japanese website. They're seeking planners to get a project up and running, as well as visual artists to perform, quote, HD remastering of 3D backgrounds. And this is spurring a lot of conversation if it could be it's a remaster, HD remastering of 3D backgrounds. So what do we think it is? What do we hope it is? I saw some people talking about Star Fox. I saw some people talking about Kid Icarus. I think those are good guesses. I don't know. What do you see Bandai Namco remastering?
So what they have done, they've done a lot of work with Nintendo, but a 3D action game remastered. I saw Star Fox. Someone pitched Star Fox Assault. That would be interesting to bring back the Star Fox franchise like that. Other than I'm thinking of a fighting game too, because Bandai Namco helped a lot with Smash Brothers, or they basically developed it.
True, yeah.
They've done the Pokemon fighting game as well. I forgot what it was called. Pokken Tournament.
Right? Pokken Tournament. Well, I was gonna say they did new Pokemon Snap. And that made me
done
think,
that too. Yes,
that makes me think. Okay, well, they just did that on Rails game with Pokemon for Nintendo. Star Fox has a lot of on rail games. Could they be doing that as well? So I don't know which is Star Fox Assault on Rails.
Star Fox Assault is,
or is that weird one?
It's the weird
I know there's
one.
like a weird one.
That one is like it totally it kind of copied off of Ocarina of Time, where I remember seeing the items like the fox is going da 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 da. I'm like, what is happening here? But anyways, I'm not too sure. Star Fox would be nice. Star Fox 64 remastered would be super cool. Actually, I'm seeing people saying Star Fox Zero. I don't know if they want to go to that well again. That one had a sour taste to even the people who had a Wii U.
Yeah,
that wasn't much.
I know a lot of people are hoping for Kid Icarus, and I think that might be hopeful. Hopeful thinking or wishful thinking, I should say. I don't know. I don't know if I can see Bandai doing that, but I mean, it's possible. It's very possible. I think they would definitely do a remaster of Kid Icarus before they make a new one.
Yes, very much so. I rarely hear that franchise at all. The last one was Kid Icarus Uprising on the 3DS, and that one, like 2013, right? Like a long time ago. And that was
the first Kid Icarus in like 20 years.
Decades.
Yeah.
And the last one was like on the literally like the NES or SNES.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. So I don't know. It's we'll see what comes out of it. They're saying a 3D remaster. So remaster meaning not remake. So they're gonna just tone up a game and like put some new textures on it or whatever. So it could be like I don't know what was it called, Grizzle, whatever. Grezzo, that's it. Sorry, I keep forgetting stuff. I'm so sorry. But Bandai Namco could be helping with a Zelda game. It could.
They could be. Ooh,
Yeah,
that would be interesting. I don't know if
just
I would
like contract
that.
work.
Yeah.
It's a 3. So the word remaster, HD remaster, that's the key terms I'm seeing here. So it could be much closer, like
What
Zelda
if?
game or something.
Okay, stick with me here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So all the rumors about Metroid Prime trilogy, yada yada yada, that's been going on for years. Everyone's been saying Metroid Prime is ready. Where is it? It's in their back pocket. What if Retro Studios was working on remastering the whole trilogy? They got done Prime, and then they were called to start working on Metroid Prime 4, and they couldn't finish the trilogy, so that's why all the rumors are that Prime is locked and ready to go, and now they're calling upon Bandai Namco to finish the rest of the Prime trilogy while Retro is working on 4.
Prime 4. Nah, that could definitely be something.
Is that like a wild like crackpot theory? Like
No, I think that totally makes sense. I would think Nintendo would test out the waters first with a Metroid Prime remastered, like released. Like,
yeah.
Okay, here's the game.
And they could do that. They wouldn't need to wait for the other two to do that. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So. And I think well, this is speculation. I think the Metroid Prime like trilogy, the first one, was definitely like it was remade like from the ground up. Like they really took their time. Somewhat like Mass Effect or whatever, but maybe 2 and 3 don't really need to. I don't know. Have you played Metroid Prime 2 and 3?
I've played. I didn't finish 2, but I played like the beginning of it.
Okay. I'm curious to what people think. That does 2 and 3 really need an overhaul of some kind?
The thing is, 1 and 2 both originally released on the GameCube, so those I feel like would have an easier time translating to control, like traditional controls. Prime 3 only released on the Wii, so there were never traditional controls assigned to it. But now that we have seen Skyward Sword HD, we know how they could do it. And, they've done Galaxy, they've done Skyward Sword, so now we know that it's possible. So
it could be. Know. So we got a lot of theories here, guys. Just take it, go with it.
I saw some people asking for Chibi Robo.
Save the Robo, guys. Save the Robo. That's funny.
Oh, geez. So, good stuff. I mean, I can't think of what else that we haven't mentioned that it could be.
F-Zero. Let's go. No, I don't want it either.
There's only the N64 game that they could do for that one.
Yeah.
I think that's the only.
I don't think they're going back to N64 though. HD remaster, 3D.
I'm thinking like I'm thinking like a GameCube game.
At least, yeah.
Or
Star Fox Assault would be the totally left field. That would be the most left field game I would not see.
Which one?
Star Fox Assault, the weird one on GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Seems pretty credible though with jobless days. So this was making its rounds on Twitter. I think I'm honestly surprised that this didn't blow up more. Like the main outlets have covered it,
right.
But I feel like I haven't seen a ton of people talk about this. There was a very lucky Twitter user. Her name's Rachel. Username is Killetheth. She got access to her preloaded copy of Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp and was able to access the entire game. If you're wondering why this is news, well, remember this game was delayed indefinitely. It doesn't have a release date anymore. So it accidentally unlocked for her on its original release date, which was last week on April 8th. Apparently, it's not quite clear why this happened, but it was some kind of error with her pre-order not being canceled properly. She had only had access to it on her Switch Lite, not her main Switch. So maybe something about it accidentally preloaded on that console, her secondary console. She posted some screenshots, some video clips from the game, including the whole tutorial. We learned some things that we didn't know, like Blue Moon and Olaf are in the first few missions in the campaign. If that means something to anybody, doesn't mean anything to me. And she was getting away with this for a while. She didn't really seem to have any like bad intent or anything. In fact, she didn't really seem to know that this blew up until a little while later. And it took Nintendo nearly a week to intervene. It was just earlier today that she confirmed that it's no longer playable on her Switch. Nintendo reached out to her, asked her to delete all of the screenshots and clips that she posted. So she can't play it anymore. She was told apparently her save file may not be there when the game does eventually come out.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, this was like kind of bizarre. I was a little bit skeptical at first. We were talking about it in Discord. Like, is this legitimate? Was there some kind of hacking involved? Is she faking this? Like, there's no faking it. She was posting like the full tutorial.
It's legit
like,
videos
posted from, the Nintendo Switch share on Twitter. You could see where it was coming from. Don't know why this happened to her, if there's maybe a few other people out there that it happened to, but it sounds like it was a totally freak thing. And it happened to a just kind of, I don't want to say naive because naive isn't the right word, but like somebody, I guess, who didn't care to dump the whole game and distribute it, which I feel some people, if they had the means to and the desire to, would totally have done
dump
that.
The game.
And then we all would be playing Advance Wars Reboot Camp right now.
Right. I'm sure she got contacted by some folks.
I'm sure she did. I'm sure she did.
Dumping the game.
But it doesn't seem like that happened.
So crazy. One person, guys. One. I mean, like, of course, the one out of like maybe a few other people that have it that don't go on Twitter or whatever, but like I would think we would know other people.
I'm surprised that it didn't happen to like a small but larger than one group of people who pre-ordered it a certain way, or like I want to know what conditions did she meet for this to only happen to her?
Yeah, so was it an online pay, like preload? Was it like through the Nintendo Store online there?
I don't know, because this game should never have been preloaded. It was delayed longer than a week before. Don't they normally start preloading games about a week before release?
Yeah, I think.
And it was delayed before that.
What could have happened is that she pre-ordered it. I don't know through a Nintendo Store or not, but she was given a code. And that code,
apparently she pre-ordered it through Nintendo UK's website.
Okay, UK's website. Okay, cool. Yeah, so she's from so maybe it could be a region thing too, because she's from Ireland and she did it through the UK store. So it could have been something weird with that as well. Could have been just a one loophole out of the
I can't remember anything like this ever happening.
Yeah.
It's such a bizarre situation to add to the already bizarreness of Advance War release history.
And you see those videos, they are legitimate. Like the animations are new, they're smooth. Like you can't fake this type of stuff. So I'm just surprised that she got it. And of course she put out there on Twitter, put out some posts, and I'm sure you got to be careful with that stuff because you get a lot of people attracting to you. You get a lot of speculation and then a lot of response from that, they wanted the game and how come she get it but not them, that type of wishy-washy stuff. So hopefully she, was able to just like calm it down, end it, and just cut that out of her life. I'm sure it was enjoyable while it lasted.
It seems like it happened to like a fairly innocent type of person to have this happen to. Like like I said, she didn't take advantage of it. I didn't see anyone being rude to her about it or anything like that. She handled it pretty well. It just seems like she was respectful to, when Nintendo contacted her. So she can enjoy her 15 minutes here.
I'm with you too. No one is talking about this. Like, I feel like we were the only ones talking about it.
I know. And I think it has to do with nobody caring about Advance Wars. I think we're like severely overestimating how big. I know this game isn't big, but I think we're considering it to be a bigger release than anybody else.
Yeah. But also, like, even if it's like, well, okay, maybe a Legend of Zelda would be a lot bigger thing, but it doesn't matter if it's Advance Wars or not.
It's a first-party Nintendo title.
It's a first-party Nintendo title. It's one person
yeah.
posting about this stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I got it. Like, it's kind of interesting to see that it's, you think of Nintendo as this, very official, like stern, very stable company, and then you got one slip out of the crack there, and you're just like, oh, maybe it's not well. We kind of know that Nintendo's online stuff is not the best, but it's interesting to see that
that can happen.
Yeah.
I would love to know the technical reason for how it happened, but we might never know. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. In some other news, while all of the other video game companies seem to be acquiring other companies left and right, Nintendo acquired some land. They purchased some land next to the Kyoto headquarters for close to $40 million. They intend for it to be home to a second development building with the purpose of strengthening their research and development. So I guess effectively expanding the size of their development teams. I don't know. The project is scheduled to be completed by 2027. So we still have some years yet before they build this building and I guess expand their teams to this location, but they're growing.
Cool. I guess the Switch Pro is confirmed.
Switch Pro confirmed. You heard it here.
They're continuing. It's crazy. 2027. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so far off. And I'm like, guys, 2017 was 5 years ago. 2017 is when the Switch launched. I still think the Switch is this like, cool new console because the idea of it's so cool too.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years. It's really been more than 5 years. Cool. I'm glad for Nintendo for getting a new building and just increasing their staff and their development. That's super cool that they were able to do this. So.
And right next to the Kyoto headquarters, like, what was this land? Who owned this before? Like, why was this just land to be bought? I don't know.
Well, I wonder too, because I'm sure Japan land is not like that trivial to like acquire at all, especially like in a heavy like industrial city like Kyoto. So yeah. Nintendo got it though.
Yeah. Bug Snacks has been announced for Switch. This was formerly a PlayStation exclusive. I never really understood this game. I don't know if you know a lot about it, Garrett, but I know a lot of people on my feed talk about this game. That's the only reason why I know what it is. What I was able to gather from just kind of watching the trailer here, it's this quirky indie where you capture creatures that look like little snacks, and I think you solve little puzzles with them. I think it has kind of this cult following, but I wanted to include it in here because it is releasing later this month on April 28th. It will include the free DLC expansion, The Isle of Big Snacks, and it'll cost $25, which I have no idea if that's the price that it goes for on PlayStation. It probably is. I don't think it got the Switch tax there. Could have. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
no. It was actually a PlayStation Plus game. It was the first PlayStation Plus game out there. But yeah, after that, I think it was like 25.
Okay.
$30, something like that. I don't know. It was lower than 60 for sure. Bug Snacks, I've heard a lot about it too. Big cult following. Yeah, you definitely just take pictures of bugs and you kind of eat them or something, and they become part of you. Like that's kind of the.
I remember seeing this game when they announced it originally, and I'm like, what is like this is gonna flop, and then just people didn't stop talking about it on my Twitter feed and like my circles here. But I don't know. Get excited that it's coming to Switch, I guess? Question mark.
Yeah,
it's coming everywhere else as well.
Yeah, the biggest thing about this game is that you think it's a kid's game and you think it's very cheerful and colorful and whatever. I've heard the ending is it gets very dark.
Really?
It gets very twisted, and you should not have a kid watch it. Like,
oh, bizarre.
It goes to places, and I think that's why there's a cult following to it, is because it kind of, at surface level, it kind of looks like a cute game, but actually it's like, it gets pretty, it goes to places. So
okay,
take that what you will.
Get excited, Bug Snacks fans. In more news about Japan getting cool things that we don't get, they are getting 2 more Nintendo 64 games on Switch Online that we aren't. They put a little promo out that is advertising that they are getting Custom Robo and Custom Robo V2, I guess is that how you say it, version 2, for the N64 on their expansion pack library. You can play these games if you want to. If you have a Japanese Nintendo account, you link that with your Switch Online. If you can get through it without understanding the text. I would love to check out Custom Robo. I've heard that it's pretty cool. I don't know if I would like it, but I don't know. Why is Japan getting this and we're not? Why don't they release this to everybody?
They get all the cool stuff, like Harvest Moon.
They got Harvest Moon last week. Oh, I'm so mad.
They got like, man, they just get a lot more.
I just don't understand the reasoning, because this game is already in English. They don't need to translate it, right? This was localized,
I guess
wasn't
so. I think so. Yeah. I don't know. I actually really don't know much about this game. Custom Robo is with the robot type of thing in Smash Bros.
Yes.
Okay, guys, I am really. Yeah, I actually
maybe it never was
about this game.
localized.
Yeah,
I thought the first one was, but not the second one.
It looks like a top-down action game of some kind, huh? On the N64, Game Boy Advance, GameCube. Okay, yeah, no, it looks very Japanese to me, like Mech Warriors.
Oh no, the first one was at least the first one was released outside of Japan.
Oh, okay.
So we should have gotten this too. Maybe it didn't
Japan,
do well.
come on.
I didn't think it was popular here, but like, come on.
1999, yeah. Well, thanks Japan for ruining.
Thanks,
and
Japan.
like you could get it through a Japanese Nintendo account. I have a Japanese Nintendo account just to, like, if there's anything like a demo or whatever, I can go there. But normally it's in their language, and I don't want to like mess with it anymore if it's in a different language I can't read.
You're not going to know what to do.
Yeah. I know some people do that. It's just like, no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This is why we got to learn Japanese, Garrett, so that we can play
that's the lesson of this new story, is that we got to learn Japanese.
We got to learn Japanese.
For Custom Robo, for Harvest Moon, for SMT1, and Fire Emblem games.
I don't know why I get upset. Like, I could literally just boot up my Retroid Pocket and just start playing Harvest Moon. Like, why do I need it to come to the Switch?
The past 2 weeks, I've been setting up my Retroid Pocket like crazy. Ooh. And I got some things set up in there now. I got Harvest Moon definitely on there.
Love Harvest Moon.
I have, and I've been messing with my 3DS as well. So a lot of different games on there. I think I'm ready to reveal my ultimate like emulation kind of like system where like, you remember I want to consolidate stuff. I feel like I put it on more devices than I think, because I got a Vita and a 3DS and a Retroid Pocket like all scattered around. So, but almost there. I'm almost there with those games. So.
There you go. Mentioned it earlier. Link to the Past turned 30 years old in North America yesterday. I played through part of it yesterday to celebrate. I cannot believe it's been 30 years. That is older than us, Garrett. And I don't know.
What?
We're getting old.
That is older than us. At least that's Yeah,
I
know.
don't feel like that's been like 30 years ago. Like that's a long time.
That's 92. I can't believe 30 years ago it was a 92. We're in the
Kyle the
90s
Pug
now.
wants to know, since the 30th anniversary of A Link to the Past has come and gone, what were some of the best moments you ever had playing this Super Nintendo masterpiece? Gary, you played this game, right?
I did.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I beat it or not, but I definitely
Garret.
played. I know. I played it with my grandma way back when
Oh,
I was young.
yeah, I remember.
Yeah. I played this. I played Donkey Kong Country and Super Mario World, and Starbucks. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past was one of those nostalgia games for me. I would actually just boot it up just to hear the music, the Dark World music, though, doo 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 doo, and I'm like, that is stuck in my head forever, and it's a vibe. It's a serious vibe with me, where it's like, I don't know, it's like an evening song. It's I don't know how to describe it, but music, man, it's it really gets you, especially with Link to the Past. Yeah, I love that game to death.
This is the best Zelda game. It was my first Zelda game, my first video game. I've talked a lot about this game. I have so many good moments. I was just this week, I was on Game Explained. You can hear my discussion with Andre Seegers about it. We talked all about A Link to the Past and its 30th anniversary. I recently wrote in Nintendo Force magazine about this game because of the 30-year anniversary this year. So you can pick up a digital copy, a PDF of that if you don't have the magazine. I play this game every few months. I play the randomizer. I just love A Link to the Past. It's will probably always be my favorite video game. It's aged well. It's accessible to go back to today. It's a hard time to find too many flaws in that game.
For sure. So, and it's I feel like it's easier to go back to that game than, like, the early gen 3D like N64 PS1 games. Like, I don't know. It's just Link to the Past is very timeless. I really like that game for sure. I just want to mention one thing in Nintendo. Basically, the charts came out this week, and it was very surprising sales charts wise for Nintendo. The number one selling game is not a Switch game. It's a 3DS game. Well, sorry, I would have to double check again. It could be a 3DS game that topped the charts this week. It's called Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology. It's an RPG, an Alice RPG. It's a pretty good one too. But the reason why it's number one is because there's been so many sales going on right now with the 3DS shop, the Atlas 3DS shop. So all of it is on sale. Shin Megami Tensei, the Radiant Historia, and all the rest of the RPGs that they have, it is on sale. So
that's interesting. So they're on sale, and people are flocking to buy these because the eShops will be closing down at some point, and this is kind of their last chance to get it on sale.
Exactly. And Radiant Historia is like, you try to get it on Amazon or whatever. Used is $50. If you want it brand new, it's like you're getting to $130. Like, it's the physical is getting pretty ridiculous. So if you're not going to do crimes and you want a sale, there you go. Lots of RPGs on sale right now. So get it while you can.
3DS games could be good at like financial investments the way that GameCube games were and things like that.
No joke. 3DS games are getting super weird expensive, and the systems themselves are getting weird expensive. Like, you try to get a used new 3DS XL on eBay, it's like $200. I'm like, guys, that's like, no, that's like a brand new, like seriously, a brand new 3DS. You remember the Super Nintendo edition ones?
Yes.
They had so they were going for like $180 on Amazon, like 2017. But now they're probably,
I'm sure they're a lot more.
Yeah, brand new, probably easily $400, $500 now. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That makes me think, like, next time there's a Switch special edition, buy it, keep it boxed forever, and then in 20 years from now, sell it for like $600.
Yeah. So thought that was interesting.
That is interesting. I didn't know that, so I'm glad that you shared that. Just released tonight, I believe, Mario Golf for the Switch Online N64
Cool.
has been released. We knew that this was coming, I guess today. So it has just released. I believe that Donnie is putting together a PSVG Mario Golf tournament. So if you want to be part of that and you want to play Mario Golf with some friends, if you're not already in the PSVG Discord, there should be a link in the show notes. Come join us. Do you remember when? I should look up when he said that was.
Yeah, I'm actually looking it up right now. It'll be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturday.
Okay.
Evening. Yeah. And yeah, it looks like Donnie is joining Kyle. And if anyone wants to show up and go there, you can go to Kyle's Twitch link as well. He's going to be streaming it. So
yeah, hop in the Discord, check out who's playing. And I think that's the kind of game that is more fun with friends. So yeah, if you're looking for people to play with, you have some.
And of course, Nintendo, I love how much of a trailer this is and how of a presentation it is to show off. This is the golf game that you should play on your Switch. Not that other one. This is the one.
Yeah. So their actual golf game.
Yeah, exactly.
I think some people will tell you that this one has better features. This one has the online tournament modes that the other one
crazy. That absolutely floors me. So
right, that's it for this week in Nintendo. Like I said, some cool stuff here or there. I think the more we go on, it's going to keep rolling, getting bigger, getting cooler. John 32 wants to know, to start off our chat questions directly from you, what other style of game spinoff do you want for the Fire Emblem series? Thinking real-time strategy and or open world action RPG, he says. I don't know. You know more about Fire Emblem than I do.
I would absolutely love an open world action RPG. Not like the one that's coming out, Three Hopes. That's like, Muso type of game. I would legit like a Final Fantasy VII remake, or like kind of just more like ebb and flow type of action RPG with a Fire Emblem game, story from beginning, and that would be super cool. A real-time strategy game, that would be weird. I would have to say that one is a little on the I probably wouldn't do it at all. But yeah, open world action RPG would probably be my number one for the Fire Emblem series.
I am loving the answers that chat is coming up with. G the Man says racing. I don't know if he's serious or not. XBS says dating sim would probably work. I don't know if XBS is serious or not, but I think that would actually legitimately work.
XBS, I would totally do the dating sim.
I think a lot of people would play a dating sim for Fire Emblem.
I think Nintendo would pull it off. It would just be like a smaller side game, just all about this.
Don't they already have some elements of romancing already?
Well, it's not as pronounced in the latest one, but definitely in Fates and Fire Emblem Awakening, there's a lot happening in there with the dating sim part of that game, because you make relationships and then they make kids, and those kids help you out. Yeah. So they definitely go on the next level over there.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool to see. I like that. TPR wants to know, is it too impractical to pick up Splatoon 2 and the Octo expansion right now? He goes on to say, I know Splatoon 3 is coming within the next 6 months or so. My self-debate on this subject revolves around the fact that Octo expansion will always be locked behind Splatoon 2. Is the Octo expansion that good in both of your eyes, or should I cut my losses and play the Splatoon 3 waiting game? 2 and Octo expansion are currently available for $60 total. TPR, I say yes. I say do it. Even if you don't touch the rest of Splatoon 2, I know that $60 is a lot just for Octo expansion, but let me tell you, the Octo expansion is that good. It was my game of the year for 2018. It's not like super duper long. Like I feel like it's the $20 DLC price point for it is right. I think that you won't just play Octo expansion too. I think that like what you do is if you feel comfortable paying the $60, you pick it up like as soon as you can. Learn the, like, I guess, so this is assuming you haven't played Splatoon 1. You learn kind of the mechanics, how the game works. You test out some online matches. It's still very populated. You will find matches in seconds. You don't have to worry about that part. Don't touch the single player campaign that comes with the base game. Don't bother with that. Play some online matches, get used to it, jump into the Octo expansion. Your mind will be like, what is happening? It is so cool. If you want to challenge yourself, do all of the levels in the Octo expansion. Really get your money worth, because you don't have to do every single level to finish it, but some of them are really, really, really hard. The way that the Octo expansion works, and this is like no spoilers, you can kind of choose which path, I guess, to take to like complete the requirements for the end of the DLC. But if you want to, you can do all of the levels. And most people do the ones that are easiest for them to like get to the end and beat it. But if you really want to challenge yourself, you can. You will get your money's worth by doing that. So I say yes.
There's your answer, TBR.
It's so good. It's so good.
And I would get it as soon as you can.
Yeah, I don't know if like you might need to have, I guess, some appreciation for the Splatoon world, I think, to really get the Octo expansion and like why it's so bizarre and cool. So like that's why I recommend like at least getting used to like the online matches and like what the squids are, what the octolings are, so on and so forth. But you don't have to. You can just jump right into it. So good.
Yeah. Go get it. I still don't have the Octo expansion, so I'm sorry. I failed you, Rebecca.
It's a good challenge.
It's a very good game, though. And so if you're going to get a TBR, get it like now. Don't get it tomorrow. Get it like right now. Like you're listening to this and you're going to the Nintendo store right now.
Because the longer you wait, like we're only getting closer and closer to Splatoon 3. Like you could easily say like, oh, I'm going to get it like next week. And then like that's a whole week that you could have been playing it.
Yeah. And so you should buy it right now. Like you are typing in Splatoon 2 on your Nintendo Switch right now. And you're using
if he hasn't bought it yet, if he hasn't hit the purchase button yet, it's too late. No, just kidding.
It's too late. How dare you?
Yes, do recommend. I cannot say enough good things about Octo expansion. Speaking of Octo, the Don Rob wants to know, Garrett, have you played Octopath Traveler? If so, what were your thoughts?
I have played Octopath Traveler. I did not beat it to completion. I actually didn't really get too far into it. So I'm not the best person to probably ask. I would ask other people as well, but I will give you my opinion. It's okay. It's a very great like artistic style, and I really like kind of just the atmosphere of it, the synopsis of it. What really kind of like drove me away is basically that there's 8 different characters and there's 8 different storylines going on, and they all feel very disjointed, and that's okay. Like the turn-based combat's very good. It's very stable. I think animations are beautiful. So if you can get past like it's not going to be the best story in the world in a JRPG, then I would say go for it. Like, and Octopath Traveler's on sale like pretty much all the time these days. I know Switch doesn't get as much of a sale, but I see on Xbox like pretty frequently and on Steam as well. I would say actually like 30, I would say $40 is like well worth your money. Like I would definitely go for it. And especially if you're a big RPG nerd, definitely go for it. Like if you like Final Fantasy like 5 and 6, those classic turn-based games, you're gonna really enjoy this one. I just think the story was just a little I just couldn't get over it really, and so that's why I kind of stopped and
Yeah.
just played other games. But yeah, just like I would definitely look at other reviews. The Dawn Rob, like look at other reviews and see what you think of it.
The game's so pretty. I really love the art style
Yeah.
of this game. I hope they keep making games that look like that.
Hmm.
I played the demo when it first, like back
Wow.
before like that first demo where they were kind of taking people's opinions and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think the characters are very cool.
Yes.
I don't really know anything about the story, but I remember thinking that the characters were very well inspired, I guess is the word. They didn't
The
seem like
characters are
typical
cool.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that it's 8 different things going on at the same time, and you're just it it was trying to be cute, like, with trying to connect them all together, throughout the game, but it just didn't really pull off, and I hear it pulls off at, like, the very, very end. It's like, "Oh, that's the ending. Oh, okay, sounds good."
Mm, got it.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Pete, the smiling Stegosaurus, wants to know, what do you think is the worst Nintendo console?
What's that VR one back in
The
the day?
Virtual Boy.
Yeah, no, I just
That is, I
I
think,
don't even remember that.
universally the worst is the Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
It just, I don't think it was for sale for longer than a year. I think people complained about nausea, they complained about headaches, motion sickness. They did not last long. It didn't have very many games. It was only in red and black. I don't
Oh
think there's
god, that's
anything good to
terrible.
say about the Virtual Boy. If that is too easy of an answer, I thought about
Yeah.
this one. I
Okay.
think my next choice would be the Game Boy Micro. It
I
was
was thinking
one
that
of
too.
it
Yeah.
was one of the revisions of the Game Boy Advance, but the only thing that it improved upon was giving it a backlight, which the Game Boy Advance SP did a little bit better.
Yes.
The Game Boy Advance Micro had a much smaller screen than the Game Boy Advance. It was very, very tiny and
It was
probably very
so
uncomfortable to
small.
hold. I've never held one, but it looks uncomfortable to hold for like long periods of time. And it got rid of the backwards compatibility of playing Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. So it is a billion times worse than the Game Boy Advance SP. That was definitely the superior revision. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure it also came out after the DS, so it's like, why
It was
was
so
anybody
weird.
buying this? Like, who is this for? By that point, Game Boy Advances were like probably, on sale, cheap, trying to
Mhm.
get rid of them. Like, why would anybody buy the Game Boy Advance Micro? Is my question. Who has one? Does anyone have one?
I
Like,
was actually
tell me
trying
why
to
you bought
find one
one. Why? Just to
just
have?
because it's so interesting. It's like a rare gem in the wild.
Well,
Like, I would
if
definitely be
somebody
into it.
listening to this bought one at the time of its release, like when it was
Release,
on
yeah.
store shelves, tell me why you bought this. I'm very curious why. Like, I'm not mocking you for it. I just want to know
Yeah.
why. Was
Yeah,
it
me
because it was
too.
that much cheaper? Is it because I don't know? I know it was meant to be so that you can put it in your pocket, Jarwell says, but like, why?
It's just no. You can put a Game Boy Advance in your pocket and be good, or
It was
put it in your bag.
plenty portable. The SP folded in the
Yeah.
clamshell. It was plenty portable.
Um, yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that one. The micro is super weird. The next console I would say, other than the micro, I did not care for the DSi. Like, they really try
Mm,
to push that to
yeah,
being, oh, it's
it's a good one.
digital store. Oh, it has these features, has a camera, and
And none of the
I
games were
actually did not.
good.
Yeah, I just didn't care. Like, I
Yeah.
really didn't care about the DSi much at all. I know it had newer features, but what was really crazy is that they eliminated the GBA slot in there.
Yeah.
They
You're right,
completely
they
got rid of
did.
it. So I definitely didn't want like I really liked the revision from regular DS to the DS Lite because the DS Lite was the form factor was very nice. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, this is definitely a step up. And then the DSi is like, yeah, no, I'm not getting rid of my GBA slot in doing that. So
I have a little bit of a personal grudge over the DSi because when they closed down that store, none of the games were made available anywhere else. I was trying to make it my personal mission to play all of the WarioWare games before the new one released on Switch that I can't even remember what it's called. And the only one that I couldn't play was WarioWare Snapped for the DSi because you just can't get it. All the DSi games are just lost to time.
That's kind of crazy. Well, yeah, that's another thing. It's the DSi online store. It's like done. It's like out. Like you can't do anything about it.
And I don't think many of the games, well, that's the thing. I tried to do Crimes and they like didn't have a working ROM for it. Like it just
Really?
I wasn't able to find one.
I can get you something.
For WarioWare Snapped?
Possibly.
How does that work if you need the camera? I guess maybe they do.
You need a camera for that? Never mind.
Yeah. Well, you need the DSi. You need camera for a lot of those games.
Well, you can do your phone. You can put it on your phone and do it.
Oh.
Possibly.
And it works with the camera?
I would think you can allow access on your camera on your phone, and
then I could just do that with a webcam on my computer.
Yeah, possibly. So
I don't have a burning desire to play this game. Apparently, it was like the worst WarioWare like ever.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Yeah, but let's not even bother with it. But yeah, DSi is super weird. It was like it wasn't even a half step. It was like an eighth of a step towards like trying to be online, trying to be 3DS. You know, and you know what? 3DS, one of my favorite systems of all time. But like launching that thing was that was hard. That was actually pretty rough. Like I know Wii U was like, pretty small too, but 3DS one wasn't that great either. Like at least the first year.
They did the ambassador program. They wanted to thank everybody who actually bought one.
Right. I remember getting it and it was very overpriced initially too, right? It was like $300.
Yeah.
In 2011 it was 2011.
I think so.
And so that's not a small amount of money. That was like my one thing, the one thing I wanted for like birthday and Christmas. So
well, the 3DS released on my birthday. Foolish
in March.
Not asking for that for my birthday, because then if I had gotten one on release date, then I would have not only had an awesome birthday present, but I would have been part of that ambassador program.
Right. The only game I played was Lego Star Wars for the longest time. They had a Lego Star Wars, not even like a mainline one. It was just like
a small game,
a side game. Yeah, a very small game, but yeah.
I ended up getting the 3DS when Pokemon X and Y came out like 2 years later.
Wow. Yeah.
Because the only things that I cared about to play on handhelds at that time were Pokemon and Zelda. So yeah. Good question, Pete.
Very good question.
And then finally, Ahoy Adam wants to know, realistically, what is one thing you want to see Nintendo do in the next 2 years?
Realistically.
I like this question. 2 years, realistically. So that brings us to 24.
24. I'm trying to think of realistic. I would definitely like to see a Switch Pro. Like, even if it's not called a Switch Pro, if you don't have one by 2024, I'm not gonna like Nintendo that much. This thing is very dated. This hardware is very dated. I've been saying I'm getting tired for the past year of it's like, its shortcomings. It's getting bad. Like right, other than their first party games, great. I will play the first party games and go for it. The indies are awesome if they optimize it very well. Awesome, go for it. But other than that, it's just like, I'm kind of done with you. I'm gonna go to PlayStation or Xbox or PC because you're not gonna be good enough to play these third party games anymore. Yeah.
For third party, you'll stick with them for first party though. They have you in a tight grip.
They got
that one.
They got me with Pokemon. Pokemon Legends wasn't the best in terms of performance too. So I don't know. I'm getting a little annoyed with these performance issues. And it's, of course, it's because the Switch is very dated now. It's more than 5-year-old hardware
Yeah.
that's based on mobile software back then. So
Yeah.
hardware back then. I just can't. I can't even deal with it. So if 2024 we don't have a Switch Pro, I'm gonna be a little. I'll be going Steam Deck. I'll be going full Donnie, full Eat the Hype, and I'm gonna be pre-ordering thousands of Steam games and just being playing on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I mean, probably smart. And then Nintendo just stays your first party device, and then Steam Deck for everything else.
Yep, pretty much.
I think that's inevitable. Something. I'm cautiously saying realistic wish for that is for when they do put out the next console, for it to be backwards compatible, or like bringing our libraries to the next console without having to rebuy everything. I think that Nintendo is eons behind the competition in that regard.
Yeah. Sony kind of caught up with this. Xbox was the first one. It's like pioneering this, and I'm very satisfied with Microsoft's actions to bring a lot of things backwards compatible. And it's like, hey, the game you got in 360, the game you bought in 2006, 2005, it's yours, and it's on your current console.
That would be so nice.
Yeah, Virtual Console, I don't know with Nintendo, man. Like, Nintendo Switch Online is going to be it. And I think they're going to try to, I know they're being very slow about it, but they're growing it. They definitely are. I can't imagine a Switch 2 or a next-gen console. If they cut us off, that's not going to be very good. I don't think, even to this point, Nintendo fans, I mean, they're going to go, but they're not going to be happy. And I don't think a lot of people will be happy if they're going to leave all these games, especially with the Switch Online store. They are releasing like literally almost probably 100 games, like a week. Like, just dumping it on the store. And we have a lot of games on our account now online.
My unrealistic wish, I guess, is for them to totally overhaul the Nintendo Switch Online system and just make it a historic library where you have all of your first party for NES, SNES, N64, up to like GameCube. Put all your GBA games, all your Game Boy Color games, like make it this service that like anybody could look at and be like, wow, I want to relive my childhood. I'm going to get Nintendo Switch Online, and like just make it this huge library of like something that is celebrated. I don't know.
That'd be cool. Though. I'm interested to see how Sony does with their new PlayStation Plus tiered system, because they're definitely doing a tiered system where, you know, a higher price, you'll get more games, you'll get older games, you'll get more classic games as well. I can definitely see Nintendo compartmentalizing their Nintendo Switch system in a sense that, okay, the maximum price is like, this is the price tag, but these are the people that would absolutely love everything on their Switch, from just like NES all the way to, let's just say, all the way to GameCube games, like all the first party stuff, all the third parties they can get, and just put it in the same price tag. And then you'll have tiers below, or tiers broken apart between GameCube to NES. It'd be super cool to see something like that and how well it does. But yeah, I just don't know with Nintendo. I feel like they're just going to be trudging along for the next 2 years, even with these. Like, I would not be surprised if they don't release a GBA, or they don't release an N64. Or no, sorry, a GameCube emulation on Switch. Yeah. So.
My actual realistic one thing I want to see Nintendo do in the next 2 years, release Breath of the Wild sequel.
Oh yeah, no, I think that'll happen next year. I think it'll happen next year.
It's realistic.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know. That's my wish. Oh man, good questions. Good questions.
Great questions.
TPR, I hope you bought Octo Expansion by the end of this podcast. We're counting
Yes,
on
you are
you.
$60 down now from your credit card account.
Well, that is it for this week in Shez Shack. I will be out next week because I am going to be attending PAX East for the first time. If you will be attending PAX East, first of all, track me down and say hello to me. I would love to meet you and say hi to you. Second of all, I am going to be on a panel on Saturday at 5:30 at the Bumblebee Theater. So if you are at PAX, come to my panel, say hi to me there, hold a big sign that says, "Hey, Forest Minish, do great work." I'm going to be talking about Zelda. So if you like Zelda, which if you're listening to this podcast, you probably do, you will hopefully enjoy our panel. I'm very nervous. I've never done a panel before.
Oh, I'm sure you'll do fine. And you're with who's your other
Michael,
host?
who was on this podcast.
Yeah.
He was a guest twice. He talked about Mario Party last time he was on here. And then Odell Harmon, who he used to be in the game like journalism world, but I think now he's in the gaming PR world. So you might have heard that name here or there. But yeah, for those who are PAX East goers, I'll see you there.
Nice. That would be super cool.
Yeah.
And that's in Boston, right?
It's in Boston. I gotta get the car keys to go to Boston.
You gotta go park your car in the yard. That's what you gotta do.
Boston, so yeah, well, I gotta practice that accent.
One suggestion, okay?
Yes.
In Boston, go to a place called Union Square Donuts.
You know I love donuts. Ooh,
that's the best donut place.
You say no more. I'm there.
Yes,
I'm probably there every day that I'm there. Union Square, you got it.
It is so good.
You got it.
It's such huge donuts. It's awesome. It's amazing.
Sounds good. Thank you for that suggestion. Anyone else who knows anything about Boston, hit me up with other suggestions. Good places to eat, things to, I guess, keep in mind. But yeah, it'll be a whirlwind of a 4 days.
Yeah.
In any case, you will see them next week, and I will see y'all in 2 weeks. Good night, Koopalings.
Bye-bye.